in a world now to where people buy these vehicles because of these features, and it's our responsibility to use whatever tools we've got to make sure that everything is back the way that it is.
Right. Hey everyone, it's Jeff at Opus IVS. Today we're with Shane. He is an area vice president here in the Southeast at a collision center, and we're going to talk to Shane about why collision is hard. So Shane, what kind of technologies are giving the shops fits today? Like what kind of problems are you seeing with these new technologies that might be like throwing a wrench into the gears, kind of slowing you down? Or
I think, and we've kind of gotten past the hurdle now, but I think for us the biggest hurdle was whenever they first started coming out with a lot of these systems. One, just a lack of understanding of these systems.
What systems would those be? What kind of systems?
You know, whenever they first started coming out with, whether it be your radars or your 360 views or anything, you know,
right.
We knew basically what it was, but nobody really knew how it worked.
Right, and I think that's still the case today. You'd be surprised how many shops I go to and, you know, oh, I put it back on the way I took it off, or, you know, I just unplugged it, and, you know, that's not always the case, right? If you touched it, there's a 99% probability something needs done to that system, that radar, that camera, whatever it might be, the LiDAR, the night vision, you know, it's inevitable.
And you know, and once again, it comes back to people not wanting to change. I actually talked to someone that I know that's been in this business for a long time. He has a shop that, you know, has a good reputation for itself and has been around for a long time. But he was talking to me one day, and he actually talked about, because they didn't want to have to do all the calibrations and everything that had to be done to certain vehicles. And you know, once I explained to him some of the things, because he just knew that the radar was just there, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And he was an older school guy, he was small, kind of mom and pop shop, so he didn't, you know, stay up on all the latest technology or anything. But what they would do is, he actually mentioned one day that they would unplug a radar so that, or would disconnect the battery, that way whenever they unplugged the radar, that it would never read that it had been unplugged, and then they would plug the radar back in and put the battery back up, so that way the car didn't realize that anything had ever even been disconnected, you know. And we actually had a long discussion about it, and I explained to him exactly why that you don't, you know, and it was funny, but he really truly didn't understand what it was. All he knew was it was going to have to throw a light on in the dash if he didn't do it that way. But he truly, you know, like I said, the guy had probably been in this business 40-something years, so, you know, he got started fixing cars way before any of this was. And in his
fuel
mind,
injection was just coming out, right?
In his mind, he just knew that it made a light come on in the dash, but he truly didn't understand exactly what that device did. And you know, the funny thing is, after me and him really sat down and I kind of explained to him exactly what it was and the liabilities involved and everything, all of a sudden he started, you know,
changed everything.
But like I said, you know, and you know, and they change every day. I mean, between these cars now, some cars that, you know, your Chevy trucks now, I saw an advertisement the other day where it will drive itself. You know, you can set the cruise and hands free. You know, you can just sit back and ride, and you know,
there's a little camera. You know, there's I think it's like 2 cameras that sits up on the steering column, and it watches your eyes. And if you look away, you know, left or right too long, it shuts the system down. But yeah, if it's a mapped road from GM, yeah, it'll drive itself. It's pretty cool.
You know, so who would have ever thought 10 years ago that we would be talking about a car now that, you know, and I'll be the first to admit, we have not had one of those trucks in this shop yet. So I'm still doing some research to even see what extra we have to do for that, because, you know, the more that they keep constantly adding, the more we have to try to stay ahead of it and be prepared, because we haven't had one in here as of yet, but I mean, one could roll in here tomorrow.
Right. What are you using to find the information to know whether or not you need to calibrate something, or, you know, to stay that one step ahead? Say of the Super Cruise, if a CT6 comes in tomorrow, or a new Escalade that's equipped with Super Cruise, what are you using to know, hey, when we're done, we have to do this or we have to do that?
So what we are using here, we use a device called DriveSafe, which is by Opus, which is by you guys. And the thing about it is, once we do that pre-scan, it actually gives us a report that tells us, you know, this vehicle could be equipped with these features. And we're actually trying out some other software that you guys have that will even tell us exactly what features are on that particular vehicle.
So you're using IVS Map with the DriveSafe inside the ADAS tab, and then you're also using ADAS Map on the computer through CCC.
Yeah.
that the estimators use, and that's going to be VIN specific stuff. But yeah,
Yep. And so we use that to determine what we've got. The one thing we do love about that device is it does tell us kind of what recommended, calibrations are on that vehicle. We also have, we'll go in all data in different locations and map it out that way as well. And we still actually use we don't rely on just one or the other. We try to be very thorough with it. The key to any time we do a repair is obviously we want it to look good, but we also want it to be everything be functional and be safe. That way, if my wife or my child gets in that vehicle or anybody else's wife and child, that we know that everything's going to function the way that it's supposed to.
Right.
I mean, we're in a world now to where people buy these vehicles because of these features, because of the safety that it provides, and it's our responsibility to use whatever tools we've got, whether it be through Opus or whoever, to make sure that everything is back the way that it is.
right. I'll tell you now, if I rent a car and it doesn't have blind spot, I don't want it. I want to get another car. Hey, do you got another car? I want something with blind spot. I've become very lazy with that on that side of ADAS. I gotta have
And we get dependent
the blind
on it.
spot. Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
I mean, I've got a new Toyota Tundra, a 23 Tundra, and it's got the 360 view cameras and everything on it. And, it's amazing because my truck before that didn't have it, and I didn't think I'd even care about having that stuff. But now that I've got it, it's like, I couldn't imagine having a vehicle without it.
Yeah.
I get nervous now. My mother-in-law hit a deer about a week ago, and her car is actually in one of our shops being worked on.
Okay.
And whenever she's getting older, so obviously, her reflexes are not the way that they used to be. And she had some little bump ups and different things. So whenever she went to go buy a car, we took her shopping, and she ended up buying a Honda CRV with all the lane keep assist and all the, every safety feature that you could get on it. But we did it and recommended that car for her because it would kind of help compensate for some of, the incidents that she had had.
Right.
Well, she hit that deer about a week ago, and it's been in the shop, and she didn't want to mess with a rental car. Well, I've got a Jeep Wrangler that she's driving, and I told them, I've said I've been nervous all week because it doesn't have all those little safety things on it, and it's like, man.
Right. Yeah, I got a 21 Nissan Titan Pro 4X, and it's got all that on it. I love it. I can't see going away from it now that I have it, But yeah, you still got to pay attention. The only thing I wish it did is, steer itself, but it doesn't. I just get the vibrating steering wheel. But
mine actually jerk it back and all that. But and I joke with it because it's got the automatic braking and all that too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, whenever I go to back up in my garage because it's about the length of my garage, I actually have to put it in drive and park 3 different times because it'll lock the brakes up before I actually get all the way in the garage.
Yeah.
So
I'm the same way. I'll pull up and I'll watch the infotainment screen, just about ready to hit the wall, put it in reverse. I'm watching it, and I know right where to stop the bumper, so the door will go down without any issues. So what do you think the future of ADAS looks like in collision shops? For me, it's only going to get worse. It's going to become more standardized. I think at some point ADAS is going to get so good that you may or may not need as many technicians in the shop, right? I mean, I think, when we get to that self-driving level 5 ADAS, I think things are really going to change for the body shop industry. How do you feel about it?
I do think it's going to change the views as far as, just like with her car, it's got all those features, but she still, hit a deer. I mean, it's not going to take in account for those types of things. But I do think we're going to see less vehicle-on-vehicle collisions and different things because of all the addition to these features. Mm-hmm. So I think it's going to definitely change in a way that the industry's already changed to where, so many different cars we're having to just, the repair procedures, there's nothing about it that's the same, whether it's because of the construction of the vehicle or because of the safety features. But yeah, I definitely think you'll see less of your hands-on, work mud technicians, and I think you'll start to see more of your computer guys that can do a lot of that programming and different things that's required. Mm-hmm. I think you're going to see just a huge trend in that kind of shifting courses a little bit. It's always going to be manual labor, but I think you're going to see a lot of the manual side
Right.
going away.
I mean, Ford just filed for a patent, I want to say 6 months ago, or if you don't pay your car payment, it'll drive itself back to the bank, right? The car just drives itself back to the bank. So we'll see where that goes, but yeah. All right, everybody, that's going to sum up today's interview with Shane. I hope you guys all found this informative. If you got any questions, come see us at opusivs.com.